one of the world's largest providers of seafarers, tightening protections for its crew. India's maritime authority has ordered ship owners, managers, and recruitment firms not to deploy its citizens on vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The directive issued after the death of 2 citizens in incidents around the critical waterway over the past 3 days. US and Iran have been escalating attacks at each other's military facilities as they contend for shipping access through Hormuz. Tehran also expanding its threat to target regional infrastructure, following a similar warning from President Donald Trump on Iranian power plants and bridges. Although there are tentative indications of a diplomatic opening, US President Donald Trump says Iran has freed an American citizen in a goodwill gesture, claiming the Iranians want to have a meeting. Iran's chief negotiator has also signaled the door to diplomacy remains open, insisting his country will preserve what it calls its security arrangements in the Strait of Hormuz. And for more, CNA's Priyata Brajabasi joins us live from Bengaluru in India, alongside Jagruti Dave, covering developments live from Washington, D.C. Now, Priyata, let's start with you. What does New Delhi's directive on sailors transiting Hormuz actually mean in practice? And what other measures is the Indian government taking at this point?
Angela, in light of the confirmed deaths of 2 Indian seafarers in separate attacks, in the last 3 days alone, the Indian government has ordered that no Indian national will be deployed on any vessel until further notice in the Strait of Hormuz. And this is for further deployments of Indian seafarers. Now, for the Indian seafarers that are already deployed in that conflict region of the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, the Indian government has come up with a response. First, they will
Yeah, it looks like we've lost our connection to Priyata for the moment, but let's head to Jagruti now in Washington, D.C. Now, Jagruti, where does the conflict between US and Iran stand right now? Do you see any signs of de-escalation?
Right now, we look like we're in the conflict is in a high stakes stalemate, with the US intensifying strikes against Iran and also firing at a ship that it said was trying to escape its naval blockade. Now, Iran has retaliated with missiles and drones targeting Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, and said that it too could escalate. And these tit-for-tat strikes that are ongoing, well, experts are saying this could plunge the US into the kind of forever war that Donald Trump wanted to avoid and said that the US would not get into when he was campaigning to be president. Now, before all of this, before the war started, the focus for the United States appeared to be on Iran's nuclear program. But now it has turned to the Strait of Hormuz and who has control over this critical waterway that carries around 20% of the world's global oil trade, as well as crucial supplies of fertilizers. And it's become what Iran's army spokesperson has called a red line. And since the resumption of strikes between the two sides, we've seen the rising prices of oil and fertilizers, which Iran views as leverage, especially ahead of those crucial November midterms here in the United States, where Republicans and the White House is feeling the pressure of those rising oil prices. Now, that preliminary ceasefire from June appears to be in tatters, but at the same time, there are some small signs that the door is open to negotiations, as you mentioned, comments from Iranian officials and the release of a dual Iranian-American dual national that has been charged with espionage by Iran, and a woman who has been detained in Iran since 2024. This was announced by Donald Trump on social media and he called it a gesture of goodwill. The question, therefore, is there enough goodwill on both sides to bring them back to the negotiating table, Angela?
Right. Jagruti, thank you for that update. And it appears we have Priyata back with us live from Bengaluru in India. Now, earlier, Priyata, you were telling us about the measures that the Indian government is taking. Can you tell us more?
Right. The Indian government has come up with an emergency response initiative. It's called the Wayfarers First, where the government has said that it will set up a real-time dashboard that will give real-time information on Indian seafarers who are aboard conflict zone of the Gulf of Oman or the Persian Gulf, or also the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the Indian government has also said that it will provide uninterrupted assistance and support to the families of the Indian seafarers who are in that conflict zone, and has also announced that they will set up a liaisoning officer with every single Indian seafarer conflict in that region. Now, the Indian has time and again asked for the de-escalation of the conflict. It has also registered a very, very strong protest with Iran. It called the Iranian deputy ambassador on Tuesday and in fact said that it is strongly protesting the death of the Indian seafarers. So the Indian government taking these strong measures to ensure the safety of the Indian seafarers in that conflict region. Angela.
Priyata, thank you so much for that update. It was Priyata Brajabasi reporting live from Bengaluru in India, and Jagruti Dave covering developments live from Washington, D.C.